Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Today we're starting another reading vlog, but this one's going to be a little bit different. Today we are doing a blind date with a book. I am super excited for this. I've been planning to do this for like the whole of June. I will explain why in a second. And I am finally getting round to it now. I am overwhelmed with the amount of books I want to read at the moment. So choosing my next book is proving very difficult. I feel like this whole month I've struggled to choose what book to read next because I've just got so many books screaming at me to read them ASAP. So I feel like doing a blind date with a book is actually going to be really helpful at this current time. Obviously the whole point in a blind date with a book is that I have absolutely no idea what the book is until I open it up, and then we're going to go ahead and read that in this reading vlog. You'll get all my thoughts and opinions as we go. Hopefully it's a book that I enjoy, but it could be just as entertaining if it's a book I really dislike. So for my birthday this year, my lovely best friend got me this ridiculously thoughtful present. She wrapped up 12 books, one for each month, and the idea is that I unwrap one each month and read it. As you can see, I have already opened March, April and May. March was my birthday, so of course that was the month I started with, and today we're going to be reading June. Let's go ahead and get our June book. Ooh. Eee. So I have absolutely no idea what this book is. Hayley, my friend who did this for me, said she'd done quite a mixture of genres and also tried to pick out books obviously that she thought I would enjoy but that I didn't already have. So far for March, she actually got me a book that I did already have because I bought myself it literally days before she gave me this present, and that was, what was it called? Is it Things We Never Got Over at Lucy Score? Or Things We Hide From the Light? Things We Hide From the Light, that's the second one, right? Whatever the pink one is, she got me that. The April book was Tools of Engagement, I believe, by Tessa Bailey, and the May book was Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard. So far we've had two romances and a fantasy, two of my favourite genres. I have absolutely no idea what genre this one is going to be, but I guess it's time to find out. I see reds. I see what I think is reds. I have absolutely no idea what this is. Ooh! I do not know anything about this book at all. This Could Change Everything by Jill Mansell. This is a beautiful cover, let me just say. It is not a book I have ever heard of, nor a book that I probably would have picked up by myself, which is one of the things I love about a blind date with a book. So the blurb says, on the one hand, if Essie hadn't written that letter, the one that only her best friend was meant to see, then she'd still be living like an actual proper grown-up, tucked up with Paul in his picture-perfect cottage, maybe even planning their wedding. On the other hand, if her true feelings hadn't accidentally taken the internet by storm, that is, she wouldn't have moved into the attic flat on the square. She would never have met Connor or got to know Lucas, and she wouldn't have found herself falling in love with someone she really, really shouldn't fall in love with. Ooh. It's described as achingly romantic, powerful and poignant. The queen of witty, heartwarming, feel-good love stories. Well, I love a witty, heartwarming, feel-good love story, so I was actually really hoping for a romance read. So fingers crossed, this could be a very successful vlog. I haven't read anything by this author, but I do feel like it's maybe an author that's quite prolific and is possibly a lot of people's favourite author. So maybe they'll become a new standout author for me too. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this one now, and I will give you an update soon. up to page 66 of This Could Change Everything. I just totally forgot the title. This is reading super fast. I am definitely enjoying it so far. We're basically following this character called Essie, and at the beginning of the book she has just moved in with her boyfriend Paul. Things are going really well with their relationship. His mum is a bit of a nightmare, but she did get her a job as a dental receptionist at the dentist that she works at. And Paul's away like doing some work trip or something, and Essie has her best friend Scarlett over. They're laughing about the fact that Paul's family do a round robin each year at Christmas time, just like detailing what's going on in all their lives, and it's basically just like rich people boasting about them and their children and their lifestyle. So they're laughing about that, and they decide to do their own round robins, but just to each other and to be completely honest in them. So they have a bottle of wine, Scarlett goes home, Essie decides to just type out her round robin then on the laptop, and there's this big kerfuffle because the cat brings in a bird and she's trying to get the bird out, and then she has to like clean up the mess that has been made from this because Paul is like an insane clean freak, and because of that she totally forgets about the laptop and she goes up to bed. And when she wakes up in the morning, Scarlett phones her and is like, oh my god, what did you do? And she's like, huh? And Scarlett tells her that the round robin has been sent to everyone in Essie's contact list, which is over 200 people. So Essie runs downstairs and sees her brother on the couch. She had hidden a key outside for her brother who was at a party nearby so that he had somewhere to crash afterwards. And she's like, I can't believe you did this to me. Like, I give you a place to stay and this is what you do. And he's like, dude, I did not do this. And then this other dude shows up called Lucas, who her brother Jay let stay there as well because the guy had like lost his keys or something. And this guy Lucas, in his drunken state, thought it'd be hilarious to send this round robin to Essie's entire contact list. Obviously when he wakes up sober, he's like, I did not make the best decision there, but it's kind of too late. So a couple of hours later, Paul gets home and he's fuming. Unnecessarily so, in my opinion. Like, we get to see the round robin that was sent, and yeah, it's bad, like she does call his mum a dragon, but his mum sounds like a dragon. Like, she sounds like such a stuck up pompous woman. And I mean, it wasn't that bad. She talks about how like Paul is the love of her life in this email, and he literally just comes home and is like, so you know we're over, right? And you need to get out. So she gets chucked out, she loses her job as a result. Honestly, good riddance to Paul and his dragon mum. Like, I don't really know why she was with him to begin with. Like, she acts like they were like perfect together, but he just sounds like a bit of a rich asshole, to be honest. We also are following this 83-year-old character called Zyla. I don't know if it's Zilla or Zyla. I've been saying Zyla. She's like this really fun, eccentric old woman. And when her husband died, she felt like her house was too big for just her. Like, she's very rich as well, but she's like one of the good rich people, which I kind of like to see the author showing both sides and how money doesn't just always make you a bad person. It depends what you do with it. So Zyla turned her house into like 3 apartments basically. So she has 2 flats that she rents out to tenants, but she's very picky with who she chooses because obviously they're like living with her, and she's looking for a new tenant. So of course she finds Essie, luckily, and they make a deal that Essie can have the flat if she helps Zyla out with like errands and stuff, and then in return Zyla will give her the flat at a price that is affordable to her, despite the fact that this is like some really beautiful house in a crazy rich neighborhood. So we like Zyla. Essie then gets a new job at a bar, but when her new boss walks in, it turns out to be none other than Lucas, the guy who sent the round robin. And the interaction between them when she realises this is great. Like, it's definitely giving enemies to lovers. We are getting his perspective as well. We've also had Zyla's, and we've also had Connor's. And Connor is the guy who lives in the flat below Essie. And he seems like he's a good guy. We don't really know too much about him yet. We just have like one little bit from his perspective. And Essie hasn't actually met him yet. But it's kind of given like Lucas is going to be enemies to lovers. Connor is either going to be like straight to lovers or like friends to lovers, I'm assuming. And then there's going to be some like love triangle stitch. That is the vibe I'm getting at the moment. I feel like if this is a love triangle situation, I'm actually going to struggle to choose what team I'm on. Like, usually with a love triangle, I feel like I am instantly like, yeah, you're the one. The other one can just like go in the bin. But with this, obviously I don't really know too much about them yet, but I really like both their characters so far. They're both really interesting, and yeah. So obviously I've only read 66 pages so far. Quite a lot has happened, so I'm excited to see how things progress. I think the book is I don't know why I find that so shocking, but I feel like I'm trying to not read the words on the last page, but I feel like how often do you see the last page genuinely being the last page? Like, this is the cover and this is the last page. Like, that's not some extra chapter or acknowledgements or anything. That is like literally the end of the book. I feel like you never see that. Anyway, the book is 406 pages long, so I'm not even a quarter of the way through it yet, and a lot has gone down. So fingers crossed it continues to grip me. So I am up to page 150 of This Could Change Everything, and I feel like I have mixed opinions on this one just now. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it. I love Zyla, she's my favourite character. Like, she just does such amazing things for people and uses the money that she has for good, and I love to see that in a book. I love to see how that's done. I think she's such a beautiful character. There's a scene where she's like talking about she's been married 3 times, and there's a scene where she's telling Essie about her 3 husbands and like how she met them, and particularly her last husband and like their love story and how they met, and it was just absolutely beautiful. So I am really loving her parts. In terms of the actual book, it's very different from the romances I usually read. A lot of the romances I usually read are basically like most rom-coms. It's very much focused on the 2 characters that are part of this romance, whereas this one, it's more one of those sort of romances that again I think are the sort of like prolific romances from writers like this, where it's more about all of the characters living in this small area and how they all interact with each other, how they go about their day, more of like a normal human life, I guess, rather than like a dramatic fiction. I don't really know how to explain it other than that we're like watching these characters go about their lives at the minute and not much is really happening, which is fine. Like, it's enjoyable, it's just not what I'm really used to, and I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it at the moment. There was a small twist that came like maybe like 50 pages ago, maybe less, and it was really, really obvious to me. Like, I feel like I knew it from the start, and the way the main character has reacted to it is just like, I don't know, I just don't get it. Like, I don't get how she's reacted to other things in the book if that's how she's going to react to this. Like, I'm just not entirely sold on the main character. I think she's a little bit annoying, and like, she's been like dramatic for like the first like third of the book if this is how she's going to react to this twist. I don't know, it's hard to explain without giving spoilers, but basically not entirely sure how I feel about the main character at this point. My main concern is that this could be going in a direction that I am really, really not going to like. There are hints towards a possible thing happening. Again, trying to not give spoilers, but if this is how it goes, if it does go the way I think it's gonna go, this book is gonna become like a 1 or 2 star read. It depends obviously how that is handled, if that is how it goes, and it may not even go that way. But at the minute it's hinting towards it, and I just really hope it does not go in that direction, because it'll mean I'll just have to like hate read the rest of the book. Which I'm really not in the mood to do. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe it won't go in that direction at all. Maybe it'll be completely different. At the moment, like, our main character doesn't really have any romance in her life. Like I said, it's really just about her daily life while she's like interacting with these new characters that are all like such a big part of her life now. Which is, again, good. It's just not what I have come to expect from a romance, but that's totally my taste and what I usually read. But anyway, I need to go and grab a train now. I'm actually running kind of late, so I'm gonna run. I'm heading to Edinburgh to see the lovely Ashleigh from A Frolic Through Fiction. We're gonna have a nice little coffee date catch up. Of course, I'm gonna take the book on the train and try and get some more reading done while I have that time to myself, and I will update you guys later. Quite a huge chunk of this yesterday on the train to and from Edinburgh. I'm now on page 296, so I have like just over 100 pages to go. Yeah, the book is 406, so I have about 110 pages to go. And you guys, it got worse. My most hated trope reared its ugly head on top of the other situation that was already potentially going to annoy me and hasn't technically happened yet but is in the works, and I'm not vibing. I'm not vibing. I do not like the characters. I do not like the decisions they're making. I am all for messy characters making bad decisions, having flaws, but there are just certain things that I cannot condone and cannot enjoy. Like, what is happening in this book is pretty much the entire reason I stopped watching Emily in Paris. It's so different to what I thought it was gonna be. Like, I'm just gonna say it's not love triangle in the sense that I thought it was at all. Like, one of the characters, like, that I thought she was gonna have this sort of love triangle thing with, there's no romance between them. Like, his romance is with someone else, and that romance as well, I don't really like the woman that he's with. I'm not completely keen on him either. Like, there's not really any characters in this book that I feel particularly attached to or particularly invested in. I could easily just put this book down now and it would not bother me not knowing how things continue for them or how things end up. I obviously am going to finish the book for the sake of the video, and also because I really struggled to DNF even when I am feeling this way. Who knows, maybe it could pick up in the last 100 pages and everything could turn around and people could all be good humans in the end, but at the moment I'm not a fan. It's also a closed door romance, and that's not criticism of the book. Obviously, like, a closed door romance, like, some people prefer that. Me, I like a bit of smut. So when I'm reading this, I'm just like, are you kidding? Like, all this build up and I don't even get like a smutty scene? What's that all about? Not that I particularly want a smutty scene between any of these characters anyway. I don't know. It's just, I feel like the blurb had potential, but the actual book, it's just not for me. Like, it's not a bad book, it's just not one that I find enjoyable to read. Like I said before, I'm pretty sure this is a prolific author, and I'm pretty sure there'll be people who this is like an auto-buy author for, and they'll just eat up everything she spouts out. Me probably will not be delving into this author again. But I'm just gonna sit in my nice little cozy chair here with my books and finish off this book now. I think it shouldn't take me too long. Like, even though it's not like particularly exciting, I am reading it super fast, so hopefully be done with this within the next like hour or so, and then I will give you my final thoughts. I've just finished This Could Change Everything and I'm gonna give this one 2 out of 5 stars. Honestly, those last 150 pages were painful. This was very nearly a 1-star read, but then I thought that was maybe like too harsh. The last 150 pages were just more of all the stuff I did not like about the rest of this book. The dialogue got so cringe. It was honestly painful to read. Like, in a weird way, it reminded me of when you watch a movie and like the acting is really bad. Reading this, like, the people didn't sound like real people. Like, the things they were saying and the way things were worded, I was just like, what? Like, people don't speak like this, and if they do, they're cringe as hell. There were so many bits in this where it was like fate or something, like somehow people from earlier in the book met, or they saw someone and then they saw them again like however many chapters later and then they end up together, and like just all these things that were like, if there's one or two of them, like, oh, that's nice how that worked out, but it was literally everything. Like, everything, there was some sort of like weird coincidence or weird stroke of fate that meant things worked out, and it was just a bit much. None of the characters were fleshed out at all. Like, I literally had no connection to any of the characters. They did not feel real at all. So two-dimensional. The writing itself, like, people keep saying that this is like, her writing is really funny. I mean, I didn't see any of that. Honestly, the whole thing was just like really predictable, really cringe, and yeah, not for me. Not for me. I'm happy that some of the characters who ended up together, but it didn't elicit any feelings from me at all. There were some really emotional moments in this and I felt nothing. So yeah, not my most successful blind date over reading book, but that's part of the fun of doing this. Like, you don't know what you're going to end up with. You have no expectations going in. So it was a lot of fun. You got to watch me hate read the last half of that book, and it was an experience. But that will conclude this reading vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you would like me to continue doing a blind date with a book every month. I think they're fun. It's interesting to see what book is under the paper, and then it's always interesting going into a book when you either haven't heard of it or would not have picked it up yourself, and it just gives you that push to pick something completely different up. So yeah, let me know if you'd like to see more of these. If you made it to the end of this video, pop the letter emoji, because there's letters all over the front of this cover. Pop that down below just to let me know that you made it to the end of this video and that you enjoyed your time here. But as always, if you did enjoy the video, please do give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe for more bookish content from me. Comment down below with any of your thoughts and feelings. I do reply to every single comment. I love you all, and I will see you in my next one.